So our lives are about waking up. It's about the soul evolving. Everyone can relate to not feeling completely free, not completely liberated. The heart's not fully open. We're hiding who we are. We're almost being forced to face what's in. The frequency of the light that's presenting on the planet and also the planet itself is shifting and changing. And what's happened is whatever is not love is going to come to the surface.
Is there then another physical me somewhere else right now?
I can see you, Guy, the frequency of you, your consciousness. Yes, you're in many places.
The episode you're about to watch has been republished. My podcast channel reaches a lot more people now, and there's certain episodes that have slipped under the radar, and I wanted to bring them up for your attention because I truly feel they are worth listening to. So please be sure to let me know what you think of this episode in the comments below. And of course, let's continue to connect. Let me know where you are in the world and where you're listening and tuning in from. I love reading it. It's amazing, isn't it, that we can do this? And the other thing I want to say as well is find out where we are if you want to put your spiritual boots on and come and join us at one of our 5-day retreats or one-day events around the world. Links are below as well if you want to find out more what we're up to. Much love from me. Enjoy. Bonnie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Guy. Really happy to be here.
It's been lovely chatting to you off air as well. And it's quite funny when I meet somebody like yourself and then we get chatting. It's like, oh my God, there's so much great information. Quick, let's get it in the podcast, before we hit record. So I'm looking forward to diving into and covering so many things of what I find absolutely fascinating with yourself today. I ask everyone on the show though, and if you were just sitting next to a complete stranger on an airplane or a dinner party and they leant over and said, oh, what do you do? What would you say?
Well, what I do say is I try to keep it easy, because what I do is really out there, or it can be seemingly. But basically what I do is I work with energy, the unseen world, the unseen realms. And what I do is to help clear foreign energy that doesn't belong in someone's space. And it actually creates different shifts and changes in their well-being, their emotions, their thoughts, their lives, their beliefs, everything. So it's an energy work, basically. It's a lot of shamanic work is involved. Obviously you're moving energy, it's shamanism. And it's just a modality that I've created in my life that is very quick and fast and, being able to track energy, things that don't belong, things that are not you, basically. So
I find the whole world of energy fascinating and listening to you just even reply to that, like, because in my growing up, it never even occurred to me there's an energetic aspect to ourselves. Like everything was just physical realm, physical being, physical person. And just completely, I guess there was an innate part of me that was always connected, but I never really understood it or was encouraged to nurture it and then my lifestyle continued to remove me from it. I'm curious, what are your thoughts? How much does that energetic side affect our well-being, our reality, our life, considering we, as Westerners, we don't even give credence to it, really?
Yeah. Okay, I know people aren't going to like to hear this, but it's realistically, on the energy realms, you are affected almost like 100% by the frequencies that are in your space that don't belong there, carryovers from past incarnations, all the different types of energies that are affecting your thoughts, your reactions. I would say, I personally, I think everything is affected by that, because even when we have like an emotion, that is an energy frequency, but where's it coming from? See, that's my point. Everything's coming from some other experience, some time in your life stream. Most everything doesn't really begin here. So you're coming into this world and you're carrying all this, I call it soul imprint energies of things that you never completed or never knew thyself in. And so you have all this energy, and then what you're doing is that energy is attracting things to you, I call it opportunities, that are going to activate this deep energy and conscious energy so that you have another opportunity to get through that, move through that, be done with that particular experience. So our lives are about waking up. For me, it's about the soul evolving and to be free from the wounding from the energy frequencies within. You know how most everyone can relate to not feeling completely free, not completely liberated. The heart's not fully open. Okay, we're hiding who we are. We're not always being upfront. We feel unsafe. I mean, all these are all coming from energy frequencies from the past. So, and coming right back around to your question, about 100%.
Well, yeah, I'm itching to dive into your own journey and background in a
Yeah, yeah.
moment, Bonnie. But
Okay.
I want to pick up a couple of open loops you
Yeah.
dropped in there for me as well. And one is then with the resonance of our emotion. If we are the totality of all our past incarnations and experiences, which might feel a stretch for many people listening to this. Well, are we really living multiple lives, and this just this and that, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I'm always open to everything as I explore this work more, which allows me to learn more.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Mm-hmm.
always blown away, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
then, if we're bringing that in, what is our soul's journey or purpose as we move through these struggles? And because I think about what you said then with the resonance of emotions and these things that we're bringing in, does that mean we're then attracting that resonance in to heal that part of ourselves? Hence the challenge related to that. Am I making sense?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so just kind of like backing up, when we think about the soul, the initial separation, you know, we had that core initial separation. If we're remembering, like we can go into the state of oneness, we have that ability from that place of oneness. When we became aware of our own awareness, that was the initial separation. We felt as though we were separate. From that place, the journey is to come back to the oneness. And through that separation, as we begin to incarnate in physicality, physical form, and moving more into the human consciousness, that type of thing, it's still the journey back home. It's still the journey to come back into that oneness. And what happens is we have experiences, and because we forget, we all know we forget. You know, we don't have full memory. We don't have memory of our past experiences. Every once in a while, someone might have like a little flash or something. But basically, the journey is when we come in, we begin to close our heart down. You know, the ego gets developed, as we all know. As an infant child in the womb, you're picking up all the energy from your mother, you're picking up from your father, picking up all these energies. You come into the world, and you're learning that what you're feeling, thinking, wanting, needing is not okay. So we draw these unconscious conclusions. We close the heart down, create blockages. Basically, the soul's purpose. And I know everyone wants to go, what's my purpose here? Your true purpose is opening the heart, sharing the gift of you. That means uninhibited, full on light, full on love, sharing who you are. And in that, you know, you're absent all the wounding. You're no longer, your mind isn't blocking, stopping, you know, you're not monitoring what you're saying. You're not um, lying. You're just authentically true and real. Your true self. That is our true journey. That is what we're doing. So what happens is we come into the world, we have these experiences, we have a big emotional things that cause pain, losses, you know what I mean? Like any loss or abandonments, betrayals, all the normal things we all experience. How many people actually go through those emotions so that the heart opens back up? Okay, because what happens is when we take something personal, we have a loss, someone abandons us or rejects us. What we do is we start to protect the heart. I did that. I made a decision when I was like 14 years old. I had my first boyfriend, heartbreak, and I swore, I said, I'll never love again. Well, I closed my heart down, and I even got married with that heart closed down. Okay, that's my point. But the bottom line is this: we hold on to we carry over those same kind of woundings from our past experiences. They come in with the soul imprint. You know, I track this stuff all the time. And what happens is now we've got this energy in our subconscious. So remember, we are creating our reality 100% through our subconscious, not our conscious mind. Now, that's pretty common knowledge for most people. And what's happening is in the subconscious, if I'm believing that I deserve to be punished, or if I'm believing that no one's going to love me, or I'm believing that I'm unworthy of those normal, typical things that most humanity experiences, I'm echoing that out. And what am I going to draw to me? the same, such something that's going to make those feelings come up. But at a soul level, what we're trying to do is unravel these places of the unconscious, face it, know thyself in these experiences, go through that energy. And in doing so, it leaves the body. Like when I would do one-on-ones, like in person, I would doing that emotional clearing work or unraveling stuff, I could watch the energy leave the body. So you know what I mean? So I'm watching it, I'm observing it, I'm witnessing it, and I can see things leaving, and a person has shifted and changed because finally they have faced an issue of abandonment or an issue of rejection or an issue of loss or whatever those frequencies are. They're finally knowing it in that way. And what happens is we no longer hold that wound. We're no longer echoing out that same frequency out into the atmosphere, into the world. So we're no longer drawing those experiences to us. Okay. So
No, yeah, I'm keeping up. My brain is processing as quick as trying to be present with you. The so would it be fair to say then that for us to heal those aspects of ourselves, because you mentioned about going into it and be with it and reveal it, so we have to become aware of it to then truly feel it as opposed to avoiding it. Is
right.
it in that feeling and being aware of it and being with it and leaning into it, is that when we get to release that energy to
Yes.
clear it?
Yes, that's what's happening. When I used to this used to be the foundation of my work back in the day when I had the Renaissance Center. So as people come in and they go into these really deep seated emotions, traumas, shocks, terror, all this stuff. It's like there's a surrender that has to happen, Guy. If we're resisting, if we're thinking, nothing is getting clear. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm straight up, honest to God, for real. You are not clearing energy. You're recycling. Okay. It's a complete surrender to where you lose all thought, you lose the mind, you become the emotion so fully that nothing exists. You don't even know where you're at. You are that emotion, but you keep dropping in and it comes in waves and you let it move through you. It might feel like you're going to die, might feel like you're going to go crazy, might feel like you're never going to come out of it. It's going to be excruciatingly painful. It can be to where it feels like you almost can't handle it. But the truth is you've already lived it. But going through that energy, what happens is now you are knowing it in a way you never did before. Like how we all try to avoid things, we try to push it down or not look at it and don't feel it, make it go away, rise above it. That we've been doing that for eons of time. And now with the new paradigm, the frequency, it's easier now and energy's moving much faster. So the ability or willingness and the ability to come in and completely surrender to whatever that emotion is. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be terror, it can be anxiety, it can be the deep heartbreaking, the losses, all the things that we live, and to fully go there, fully in it, embracing it, the energy literally leaves and lifts out of the body. I've seen thousands of times I have witnessed this, okay? And it's a profound shift. The person is changed immediately, instantly. And and then you
I get goosebumps you sharing that, Bonnie. 1,000%.
yeah.
I went on my first shamanic journey over 10 years ago, um, and it was plant-based medicine, but I was absolutely terrified because I was
Mhm.
coming up against whatever fears and things, and that night I thought I was going to die, but that was
Mhm.
even before I went into the journey. I was
Mhm.
that
You're already
crippled.
terrified. Yes.
I was
Yes.
absolutely terrified, and
Yeah.
my whole body was behaving like it was going to die, and I was able to witness this and observe it and think, I can't believe this. And that was the
Mhm.
first time in my life I think I truly felt what it meant to surrender, like
Mhm.
in a very deep level.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
was in that moment of surrender that the wisdom revealed itself.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
once I got it, I was like, "Oh, that was changed the trajectory of my life," because I really understood it
Yes.
for the first. But if I hadn't gone
Yes.
through that,
Mhm.
I never would have never really have got it at a deep
Right.
level,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, even talking about it, people aren't really going to get it or understand it until you actually have that experience of going through something where you do surrender, where you're no longer resisting, even no matter how intense it is, no matter how painful it is, no matter how frightening it is. When you go through it, drop the mind, but become that energy, become that emotion. It lifts and leaves the body.
Amazing. Do you think we need to know where that came from? Because
No,
we
you
always get
don't.
so hung up on this happened to me at this age, this happened to this, or what does this
No,
mean? What does that mean? And we attach ourselves
right.
to it.
Right, right. And yes, and then also we identify with it. And here's the thing: we cannot know what's in the subconscious. We cannot. Okay. And what happens, Guy, is when we go into that surrender place, the subconscious begins to open up, and all that energy comes to the surface. Memories start to present. Sometimes it's past life memories. Okay. But it doesn't matter where it comes from, because nothing really began in this lifetime. It's all carryover. Everyone that on the planet now has carryover from past lives of energy experience processes they never, or experiences that were traumatizing, heartbreaking, that they never went through. So it's carried over in the soul imprint. So it's still in the subconscious. And as we and it doesn't really matter where it began. Energy is energy. Feelings of feeling betrayed or abandonment or loss, it's all the same. It doesn't matter where it originates if you can surrender. And if you can surrender, it will take you back. You will see things, you will feel things. Even if it's just in this lifetime, you're going to have memories come forth that you didn't have before. You're going to have understanding and emotions that you didn't even know existed. And as they lift out, it's like being liberated. It's like you feel lighter inside. It's just a
Mm,
great shift. But it doesn't matter where it comes from, and it doesn't matter what it is. The key is, can you surrender to whatever presents, whatever is there? Can you completely let go and drop in and know this energy, know this emotion? That is what's being asked of us at a soul
amazing.
level.
Do we ever get to the point where we are the full expression of ourselves, or are there always layers to be
Yeah,
revealed, do
that's
you
a great
think?
question, and that's a good one. But what's happening, I would say in the past, the odds were pretty against us. Now, what's happening with the new paradigm, with the light that's shining on the planet and the earth changes, what's happening is now we do have that opportunity and ability and potential to do that. Yes. Yes. To open the
Wow.
heart. Once that heart is open, a lot of things start to fall away. Belief systems fall away, attachments fall away. All these things that we thought were so important and so necessary, and the ego starts to dissolve and also falls away. And we become more the authentic true self, which is the true divine love and light in the very core of our existence, of our own physical form, as well as on all the different levels of who we are. And when that heart opens, I'm telling you, it's like I've had experiences where the darkest people, the cruelest, most whatever damaging, hurtful, harmful, hateful people, all I could feel was unconditional love. It didn't matter. Here's great live and light here. It doesn't matter. It's all the same. So that's what we really want. We want to have that experience within our own selves, because it is who we are. We are that in the core. So what we have to feel us. We live with our own selves. This is who we experience. Why not feel love and light no matter what's happening?
Amazing. And what about you on your journey, Bonnie? Was there a moment were you were, were you always aware of these energies?
Yeah. Okay. So
Or
backing up. Yeah.
was
Yeah.
or was
Yeah.
there a complete point where you had to surrender as well?
No.
Just
No.
oh, that's it.
Yeah. No. When I was a kid, I knew there were other energies. I saw them. I felt them. They were messing with me where I lived. We were out in the country, and there were different spirits that would come in and move my shoes and just mess with me, jump on my bed, whatever. So I knew there were things that we didn't see with our eyes. Okay. I always knew that. And in my world, so I came in, my mother was, her mother-in-law told her not to have another baby. She was young. And so my mom was trying to abort me. So I do have physical things that came from that, what she took, and the damage it did to me. And what it did, though, guys, it anchored in me in the womb the belief that I don't belong here, I'm not wanted, and I'm going to be
Wow.
killed. Okay. I have lived with that my entire life. Okay. And I was severely damaged because I also had, my dad basically left, my mother basically left, my grandmother raised us, and she came in when I was about 2.5, maybe about, yeah, 2.5. And she was very abusive to me. So I was extremely abused, like any opportunity she had, get the razor strap, get the belts, get the switches off the trees, anything, pepper in my pants. So she basically tortured me. And then her husband was molesting me, an uncle was molesting me, and her brother was molesting me. And I'm talking not fun. I'm talking severe molestation, not just touching here and there. Okay. We're talking severe. So having all of that for me, I was severely damaged. I couldn't, my first day at school, I walk in, I think my grandmother took me in, and this kid says to me, "What are you doing here?" I broke down sobbing. He hit that wound that I don't belong here. I didn't know it was up. All I did was start just sobbing. And Guy, my whole life, I mean, I lived in isolation. I've isolated myself from the world my entire life. You know, when I was 19, I went into the mountains and lived in the mountains, isolated for 4 years, didn't see hardly anybody. I did it again in 2006. I went to the desert for 4 years, and the whole isolation thing. So we were
Wow.
yeah, so we're severely affected. And my life turned around because I also was always wanting to die. Oh, when I was like, I think I was 9 years old, I laid on the floor and I was trying to will my body to die. I thought I could do it, but I didn't. And then I always was like different ways of dying. I just wanted to check out. So, I was trying to find different ways, poison or cut your wrist or, whatever. And then having my kids, my daughter, discovering not that long ago that she was aware that her mother was going to kill herself. What a horrible thing to live with. So it was in 1984 that I actually shifted from that whole victimization, the poor me, the damage and dysfunction and all of that. So I mean, that still took years for me to come to the place I am now. And as my journey was really about liberation from within, and that's how I developed my work. That's how I created the work that I do, and the depth of work that I do, and the ability to track energy and be able to unravel things. It was because of my own journey and the suffering that I have lived and where I am now. I mean, I'm like, it's like when I look at me back then, it's like you would just see this kid that was just like all shrunken up, and didn't belong here and didn't deserve to be here. And it was horrible. It was like horrid. So, it's like major shift and transformation in my own world. Pretty
Wow.
intense.
I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting that, but thank you for sharing, Bonnie.
Yeah, well,
It's
I think it's, people, because there's people that are even more, as I work with people that are really severely damaged, you know what I mean? And then other people that aren't quite as so severely, but, you know, the benefit of the work is like, it's just like, you don't have to go and talk big story. It's just, let's unravel what's there. Let's clear this stuff out so you can live more truthfully who you are, the gift of
yeah.
you.
Do you think as human beings we all we all carry a certain level of trauma?
Oh yes, everyone does. You can't be in the world and not have. Okay, so people carry forth trauma. This is the thing, and when you carry it over, you've already got trauma, and then when you come in, being in their mother's womb, you're picking up all her trauma. You're picking up dad's trauma, and you don't know the difference. That's why for me, we got to clear out whatever you picked up in the womb, so that you're not living your mother's and father's, energy frequency traumas. But yeah, there's trauma, there's shock, there's terror, there's all these emotions. There's also things that people may not think about, but for example, Guy, when we have done something and we have a belief that, oh my goodness, what I did is so bad, I deserve to be punished, I deserve to suffer. We hold that, and I find that belief inside of people's subconscious all the time, all the time. So they're the ones punishing themselves, torturing themselves, hurting themselves, not giving themselves what they want at a subconscious level, because it becomes about them and their beliefs. And then then you compound that with other people and with their punishing you and torturing you and making you wrong, and then their energy also gets anchored in. So the unraveling of the human psyche is pretty deep. It's pretty profound, and there's a lot to it.
Yeah, no, thank you. Because one thing I hear quite often is like, "Oh, I'm fine. I don't need to look at
Yeah,
this at
yeah.
all. I'll wait." And I'm thinking, "Oh, maybe in 5, 10, 15 years, that's going to catch up with you." You know what I
Yep,
mean?
yep.
And but we're just not aware.
Yes,
And
that's the thing.
that's
We're not
yeah,
aware. Yeah, yeah.
we're not.
And we think things are happening to us because we're being punished or because, whatever these beliefs are, but that simply isn't the truth. It's just not the truth. It's happening from the subconscious. You got something anchored in there. So,
Yeah. How, okay. How do you then track energy? How does it work? Is it a skill anyone can develop if they're willing to change their awareness, or is this something that you found that you
yeah,
were gifted with?
yeah.
How how do you interpret all that?
Yeah.
After
So
you
for me, I already had an innateness to it because I had already been in many incarnations. I was already been in those realms. But in this reality right here now, yes, people can learn how to track and what happens for me. I'm always looking for, not that I'm saying the words, but the intention, the desire is, where did this begin? Where is this coming from? Is this person? Is there an interference happening here? So no matter what it is, no matter what people come to me for, whatever's going on in their world, they're telling me that, and I don't need a bunch of story, but just give me a little bit about what's happening. What do you want to shift and change? I start tracking the energy. I'm watching what's happening. And I can tell if it's a discarnate attached to it. I can see past life stuff. It's like an energy show that presents as soon as someone starts speaking, their energy is showing me where things are. So I'll be tracking, watching, my consciousness is seeking certain answers. And then I also am so aware, I'm so acutely aware of anything that might be like a little like energy, like you just saw that, like a flash of something on what was that? Because those little flashes or those little blinks of something that I caught, like on like almost like a little shadow or something, that you want to go after because that's the hidden stuff. So if the energy is, it can present in colors and shapes, textures, smells, sounds. Um, I am very visual, so I get a lot of visuals. So, like if I'm tracking something with someone and that they don't have any memory of anything, I can find, where it all began, where the carryover is. So it presents like when I first started doing the work, doing healing work. This was in 1986. I began to see that, oh, anger has this color, fear has this color, anxiety has this color. All the emotions had certain frequencies, but each one you could tell the difference, or the like if it was ancient or if it was fresh or if it was intense or if it was old, or you know what I mean. It was like everything was like a roadmap that was just presenting in front of me, so that I could track it and get a sense of, oh, yeah, 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 I get it. This is like, yeah, this is ancient. Oh, okay, if it's ancient, oh, let me go track back. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I go back where this first began, going back into the live stream, picking up on particular lifetimes for different issues. Like, for example, let's just say someone in this lifetime, they just keep feeling like there's always an abandonment happening. Maybe their parents somehow abandonment, now they're in a relationship, then they get abandoned. So right there is they're showing me there's an issue with abandonment, but then I'm going to be looking and I'll be asking this lifetime, now past life, show me when it all began. I might see something like this guy. I see it. This not it. This is for real. I might see someone, a family, they can't afford. This is way back several hundred years back, and the woman's pregnant. She can't feed the baby, so they put the baby out in the forest and leave it. Okay, the baby may not die immediately, but it's going to have the elements. It might be, might be something might attack animals, critters might be trying to eat it. You know what I'm saying? So that baby, as long as it's alive, it's having all these experiences that have nowhere to go. because it's just an infant, and that can affect an abandonment. You know what I mean? It can affect that feeling of being abandoned and rejected and unloved. So it's unraveling that wounding from that point in time where it began, because they're still carrying that wound into this lifetime. So we want to clean all that up so that we can be done with that feeling of abandonment, get all the components of it, release agreements and contracts, know yourself in these ways, and then all the frequencies that are attached to it, which will be discarnates, which will also be other people's energy frequencies. And sometimes there can be, different things that are interfering. So clean that up, and pretty soon there is no issue. It's over. Done.
Wow. Yeah, I've had multiple people on the podcast share the very same thing you say in just different ways about that ancestral heritage coming through from a traumatic point, and even through our DNA as well as the energy point. So
Yeah.
we get it
Yeah.
from all angles.
Yes, we do.
Within ourselves. And I'm going to go down a little bit further down the rabbit hole, even if we haven't already, because it's
Okay.
going that way. And because I had a gentleman on a couple of weeks ago named Pete Smith, and he worked under Michael Newton for a long time with Life Between Lives. And I was very curious to know his side, because he's very big on the quantum and looking at the quantum aspects of all of this work. And I'm also just asking, are we then, as souls or as individuals, are there multiple aspects of us having multiple lives at different realities right now? And is that then affecting the trauma, the held trauma of the soul? Are we picking up on from those aspects as well, or is it just this individual kind of timeline that's happening?
Yeah, so we are multidimensional. So in this lifetime right here, right now, we do have aspects of us that are us. They're not somebody else. We have our higher levels. We have our oversoul levels, God self levels. We got our super conscious levels. Then we go direct into the light of pure awareness, which is creation itself. And then we have the overlays of other time and space dimensions, universe, galaxies, lifetimes, reality, black holes, frequencies, realms, and parallel. We have all of that coexisting simultaneously. So when we go into the state of oneness, like we want to go into the frequency of the all that is, what I call creation, what people would call God, when going in that space and that frequency, it's not what when I first was thinking about it, I thought, oh yeah, just like quietness, but it's not there. It's like, because everything is happening together simultaneously, whether it's in another universe or another galaxy or time and space. So yes, we are multidimensional. We are not just right here. We are in other time and space. And also when we're clearing up and healing some of these past life things, we're going back and actually dealing with the frequency that's still happening in the frequency of the all that is. That whole frequency that's just massive energy consciousness, all things existing simultaneously all at the same time. So, we can move stuff, clear stuff, release stuff. And coming back here, yes, we have our own entourage of our own selves and all the aspects of us that are helping us to, like, though sometimes we get the knowing, you know what I mean? Like, oh, turn left here, and you get a great parking space, or you're at the grocery store and you have that knowing to buy, you need grab that olive oil or whatever. And your mind will go, oh no, I don't need it. And you get home and you go, oh, I needed olive oil. That happens all the time to people. So that's us. That's our higher levels talking to us. That's our connection to our own higher selves. But yes, we are multidimensional beings. Yes.
So I'm just trying to decompose, get it in my head, I guess, feed the mind aspect of it then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there then another physical me somewhere else right now having a different experience or different choice points going into source?
I just saw you. This moment you started talking. I was
Oh,
tracking. That was tracking. Okay. Yeah. So the moment you began to talk, I'm looking. Oh yeah. There you are. There you are. Yeah. I can see you. You're there. Okay. So you're in this is another dimension, like an overlay, another dimension that you're in. And then you're also Yeah. Okay, so you're also in other galaxies, you're also in other time and space. So yes, there's multiple yous, you guy, the being that you are, not the same name, but the frequency of you, your consciousness. Yes, you're in many places. Yes.
Wow. And what do you? I would. I don't know the listeners will be fascinated. It's like, what do you see? What do you? Is it more of a feeling, an intuitive aspect, or do you see it? Like, how
It's
do you?
all of it. It's all of it. I can feel
All of
it.
it.
And I see it, like I can see you so clearly because you presented really, really fast, okay? And you look like you. It's a kind of a trip. It's the same kind of thing, but you're not doing what you're doing here. The one that's very clear, it's almost like you're in another, it's like in a, science has proven that there's like 12 dimensions of time and space, okay? They've proven that. So it's looking like you're about that, and that third dimension, the one I'm looking at of that lifetime. And your character, man, you're like, it's kind of cool because you got a lot of self-confidence, and you're very talkative, and I and you're yeah, you're a good guy for real. You're a good guy, and yeah, but it's different than who you are right here. It's almost like a different personality, sort of, but yet you still have a very similar look. Like I could very see you really, like, really clearly. And then when I start looking out, like when I start going further out into the other time and space, like galactic kind of stuff, I can find you in another what is this? Another time, and this is like an almost like alien kind of energy, because no, now you're not really looking like Guy. You have a different look to you, but I can still feel you and sense you, and actually know I see you, know you, by knowing you here. So I can actually feel and sense you in this other time and space with these other beings that are not looking like full on human. Okay. I mean, that's just, so there's that. And I can also feel different particles of you. Um, and this might have to do with some of the places you've been. So I can feel particles of you in different time and space, kind of scattered throughout universe, not just this universe, but other universes and other galaxies. So there's essence of you that's been many, many places. So yeah,
Wow.
so yeah, it's a trip. It's a yeah,
It
it's
is
kind
a
of cool.
trip, isn't it?
Yeah.
And because I've had some trippy experiences ever since, like I was sharing offline earlier, once things started to really move for me, and
Mm-hmm.
I really questioned myself and experienced that multidimensional part. And I'm always, I don't talk about them too much because I don't want that to impose my experience onto somebody else's experience. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, and, but do we have the ability to connect with those other aspects of ourselves and see it, feel it, and be there for a moment to
Yeah,
take that
yeah.
wisdom into our lives here? Is that,
Yes,
do you think
it's
that's
possible.
possible?
It is possible. Yeah. Yes, and doesn't mean that everyone can do it, but there are. I think it just depends on one's ability to take your awareness, to take your consciousness to different places. And I actually do that when I do different classes or whatever. Like I take people to meet their dragon. I mean, people are shocked when they didn't realize they didn't know had a dragon. You know what I mean? So I'll take them to the dragon realm, and they start crying. So, and then they're there and they're experiencing it. So, like for example, I will take people. Like sometimes people feel like they don't belong here. This is not their home planet. You've heard that, I'm sure. So what I
Mhm.
do is I'll take someone to their home planet and let them connect with the species and the beings that they were bonded with, and then they're going to be given something to bring back with them, so they always feel like a part of home is with them. It really makes a difference in their ability to just be here on planet Earth. Okay, so for you, like the one I'm looking at, this other parallel, my sense is it would be kind of easy for you to kind of step into that, feel that, because it's like it's not that, I mean, it's in another it's in another dimension, but still, our awareness can be anywhere immediately. There's no time warp. We're faster than the speed of light to be instantly anywhere in time and space. So for you, it would just be a matter of taking you into that experience and And you can do it on your own with intention. Like if you intended and wanted to experience yourself in that particular realm, basically what I would just have you like um, have that desire and intention, but taking your awareness and going towards and moving towards the twin guy, so to speak. Where are you? Where am I? Show me, show me, show me. And then taking your awareness and just let your own higher levels and those aspects of you that can take you there guide you into that form. So, or even be able to witness it.
Wow,
So
that is a
yeah.
trip. That's amazing. So, and so I think as well, just speaking for everyone again, like ultimately, then it's a skill that we need to develop in our awareness, and
Yeah,
not
yeah,
just experiencing life through our senses and touch,
yeah,
sounds, and that we're always external,
yeah,
and then bringing intentionality in behind that awareness and practicing that, and
yes.
and I would imagine then surrendering into that aspect as
Right.
well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and let it present, don't try to make something happen, you know what I mean? Like, people try to
Mm.
mock something up or try to make something no, it's not about that, you have to allow it to unfold, allow it to present, allow just that allowing and then seeking and asking. Yes, so it's and most people won't be able to do it immediately. Some people may never be able to do it, but there are those who can, like you said, with practice, have intention, have practicing if you want it, to have that happen, have those experiences as with anything, you open the door for that. You open the consciousness for that.
Yeah. Well, funny enough, that you sharing all that, like some of my experiences then happen at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning when I was just sleeping and waking up to that experience. So
Right.
it's like I've been setting the intention and doing the practice. And then at one point I go, oh, you know what? I'm just going to go to sleep. And then woof.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then have it, which is like, there's another lesson right there.
Yeah.
Um, just shifting gears, and as we move into the final sort of part of the podcast, Bonnie, is you spoke about as well about the whole paradigm, the whole shift of energy that's happening here on Earth right now, and
Mhm. Mhm.
and we've been going through a lot. It feels like I feel like humans are being put under I guess a bit of pressure more to start to look inward. That's how I'm kind of interpreting it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what would you recommend to people that are feeling uneasy, feeling like when we're not we don't want to lean in, but it feels like if there is a planetary shift and there is an energy shift that's kind of nudging us to say, hey, no, we need to start leaning
Mhm.
into ourselves more.
Mhm.
What would you how would you speak to that? What would you recommend to people listening right now?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in some ways, Guy, we're almost being forced to face what's in. Okay. The frequency of the light that's presenting on the planet and also the planet itself is shifting and changing. And what's happening, so that people can have a better understanding, is whatever is not love is going to come to the surface. And that means everything. That means greed. That means judgments. That means, you know, prejudices and hatred, all these things that people hold in their subconscious. The world energy frequency is pushing on those subconscious emotions. They are being forced to come to the surface. And the biggest thing people do is they don't want to feel it. We talked about that earlier. But the thing is, people, is it's never going to go away. And you will die with the horror if you don't start letting these energies move through you. You know what I mean? It could be like a traumatic experience rather than, all right, I'm feeling this. I'm losing my house. How's that make me feel? I lost my job. I can't feed my children. How's that make me feel? And facing these places of terror, of unrest, of all the intensity, anxiety, and the heartbreak, all these energies are being trying to be lifted up from our subconscious. We've been burying stuff for eons of time. Now we have all this darkness inside, and the light is shining on that darkness. There's no way to hide from it. And what I would just encourage people to do is face your life. Whatever it is, you're being at a soul level, you are being asked to face what's presenting. It's inside of you. You're feeling it. So rather than trying to rise above it or push it down or numb it out or whatever we all do to avoid it, you're going to have to say, yes, 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 show me. I'm willing. I'm open. Whatever that is, I want to know it so I can be done with it. And Guy, what the beauty of what when we do this is, yes, there's crisis. Yes, the world's, there's so much happening. Yes, there's starvation. Yes, it's going to get even worse. Okay. Yes. And when we face our own selves, we can be in the world in a different way without attachment. We can have compassion for the suffering of humanity, but we're not whipped around. That was another thing. I couldn't even go down the street. If I saw a little dead critter, I was like crying because they suffer. Okay. So it's like we witness what's happening, but it's not personal, and it is that divine plan in the unfolding that is unfolding, and this is what it looks like, and we are all a part of that, and we have to face what's within. And when we get activated or triggered by what's happening in our world, in our life, rather than turning away from it or avoiding it, face it and say yes. All right, yes, I know this is a bad feeling. Yes, it's going to be painful. Yes, I'm doing it. Show me what it show me. I'm willing. Come on in, feel, let the energy move, even though you feel, like I said earlier, like you're going to die or going to go crazy or going to get stuck here. You won't. It just feels that way. But know thyself in these places so you can be liberated from within, so that you can be here in the chaos, and it'd be like in the middle of that tornado, rather than being whipped around. You're in the eye of that tornado, witnessing, heart open, compassion and love for all suffering, for all beings, and you're no longer going to be in that torturous place anymore. That's
Mhm.
the beauty of it. Come in, face this stuff, and you're not going to have a tortured life.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? The modern day lifestyle isn't conducive to giving yourself space and allowing yourself just to be with yourself, is it? It's so hectic and we're
Yeah,
bombarded. There's so many distractions out there. We just can keep ourselves busy and
yeah,
numb to those emotions, those deep emotions that we truly um,
yeah.
want to work
Except
through.
except that you're getting activated almost daily, right? I mean, people are, if you're watching the news, if you're in the world,
Mhm.
there's always something, there's always an opportunity to come in and feel what's presenting. Every single day, you have an opportunity. Yes, I understand what you're saying about the busyness, 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 but I'm telling you right now, you got something more important than facing your own self, unraveling your deep wounding so that you can be more liberated. Is there anything more important than that? I don't think so.
Yeah. I I remember, Bonnie. I don't think I've ever shared this online before, but I remember many years ago when I moved to Australia, because I was like going through my own process and journey. I remember a very successful man once said, "Guy, just turn your TV around. It's the best thing you can do, so it faces the wall." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I did. I literally turned the TV around and never had a TV for, I think, a period of 10 years. And
Mhm,
I
mhm.
purposely just removed myself. I thought,
Yep.
fine. And I remember a friend, and I was so submersed in myself and just letting go. And a friend said to me, "Oh, President Obama's just been elected." And I didn't have a visual image of what Obama looked like because I was
Mhm.
so removed when you think about the craziness, the hype of what was going on in the world.
Yeah.
But it was one of the best things I could have ever done was actually just
Mhm.
start taking those steps to go, cha-
Yeah.
it has to start here with myself, you know?
Yeah. 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 I mean, I
Yeah.
got rid of the TV at when back in what year that was, like 1980. Hang on. No, 1976. TV gone. Kids raised with no
Yeah.
TV. Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. But last question, just to tie it up for the podcast today, which I ask everyone on the show is like, I mean, we've we've covered a lot of ground today, and with everything that we've covered, is there anything you would like to leave the listeners to ponder on?
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So for people to be aware that everyone, every human being, every sentient being is creator incarnate. Everyone is that. And everyone has the light within. I don't, it's like when I track and look at even dark energies, greed, all the darkest peoples, everyone has that light. Okay. The light is within everyone. And if we have that awareness that we are all divine beings, that we are love and light in the very core of our being, that we do have the ability to come back to that energy in the very core of who we are, that we can come back to that. Even if we have all kinds of wounding, doesn't matter. We can still be wounded, broken, whatever. We can all still find that light within. And when we do, it's like taking your awareness in the very core of your being, finding that light where you're blinded by a light, even if it's like a minuscule little dot of light, okay? Because there's so much wounding. Go into that light and keep resting in that or relaxing into that, surrendering into that, knowing this is who you are. And when you're in that space, there's no static, there's no brokenness. It's like a silent, still point in the psyche within the awareness, and then start to expand that, because in that expanding of that, you're pushing against some of the dark energy, some of the wounding. It'll make them come to the surface, but if you stay constant in your, or just be with that, keep your awareness in your own light, and then it's more of a witnessing as energies can be lifted and cleared as you keep expanding your own light within your own form. So I just want to let people know that shift does happen, and we have the power within our own selves to shift and change our lives and to come out of suffering. We don't have to live in suffering. Those are all beliefs, those are conclusions. None of it's real. It's all the ego. But when we keep coming back to the truth of who we are, we begin to identify that rather than with all the brokenness, with all the ego components of who we think we are and what we become, rather than our true essence. So we want to come back to our true essence, and anyone can do that. Anyone.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Bonnie.
Mhm.
If anyone wants to know more about your work, check you out, where's the best place we can send everyone?
Website. It's called spiritualacceleration.com.
Spiritualacceleration.com.
Acceleration.com.
And there'll be, for anyone listening or driving, they can just pause and there'll be links in the show notes for your website as well, Bonnie. So look, wow, thank you so much for coming on today. I loved our conversation.
Yeah, it was fun. A lot of fun.
You got me spinning in so many directions and thinking about many things, which I'm sure I'll ponder on for many days, Bonnie. But yeah, look, I really value your time and coming on and your wisdom. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Guy. It's been really fun. Thank you.